Hello friends, how are you today? You know, I wanted to record a video and I walked out of the house and I just caught it right at golden hour. I don't know if you can tell like how amazing the light is in the sky behind me. It's even cooler, like there's all these cool patterns in the air and stuff, and I have my dog with me. But I wanted to talk to you about the new moon. The new moon is so interesting. It's really like the timing of the energy is just imperfection. And I want to explain why. First, the new moon is in Capricorn. Let me just check on the dog. Settle down, Jeff. It's in Capricorn. And it is exact with the asteroid Pholus. The asteroid Athena is ahead just by 2 degrees of the new moon. The asteroid Ixion is in Capricorn, trine Mars, okay? And the asteroid Kali is in Capricorn, exact sextile Saturn, okay? And this new moon is sextile Saturn. So this is pretty cool, okay? And there's a very, very specific effect here, and it relates with Pholus. And I've been studying Pholus for a long time, okay, as an asteroid and what is its influence. And Pholus is a centaur. He was present at the massacre of all of the centaurs and accidentally or incidentally also helped cause that massacre. Now, you could say also he didn't. But the fact is that people with Pholus in an important part of their chart, maybe it's sun, maybe it's moon, Venus, ascendant, these kind of key spots. When Pholus is there, usually you have a feeling of responsibility, like you have this sense, okay? And it might be from this lifetime, there might be something specific you could point to. But there's usually a sense that I was responsible and something went wrong, okay? And yeah, it can be pretty heavy, okay? It can be a lot of guilt. It can be a self-blame. It can be putting yourself down, okay? And it can be painful. Yeah, it can. Like if you have, you know, the people who remember Atlantis, okay, this is a perfect thing. But let's say, you know, you're part of the generation that was in World War II, okay, or Vietnam, or, you know, the Gulf War, where so many people had, you know, all the, I don't know if it was Agent Orange effects, I forget what it was, Gulf War syndrome. But this kind of thing, you know, where you were part of something really big and there was something that went wrong. And so here's the key, okay? Because we have had so many and such big events like this in our recent few years that many regular people have this kind of a feeling. Like, let's say you were 1 or 2 or 3 of a large family that perished in one of the southeast hurricanes, okay? Like that's tough. And you just came through the holiday, all right? My heart feels for you. You know, let's say that you are someone who went through the COVID pandemic. You know, my girlfriend is in an area that was hard hit back in 2021 too. And she knew of, you know, a large family that had lost, like there were 50 members and had lost like 25 of them. Okay. You know, what if, you know, you got the shots and then there was some kind of side effect? What if, you know, people in your family wouldn't speak to you because of how you handled COVID? Like there are all these tragic situations, right? Where we've come through and you might feel lonely. You might feel like you were the only one. You might feel like you're the only one left. Maybe you really are the only one left. I mean, this is some tough stuff that we've been through the last few years. Now, here's the secret to Pholus. You might notice that PHOL, it's the root word for our English word folly, which is F-O-L, okay, but the same sound. What Pholus does is he accidentally drops a poison arrow on his foot after this whole melee that causes the death of all the centaurs, because Hercules killed them all and shot Chiron. That's how Chiron got his wounding, after having wine with Pholus in his remote cave, okay? So Pholus accidentally drops the poison arrow on his foot and dies. So, let's look at Pholus. Basically, in a way, from a spiritual perspective, Pholus decides to leave with the group. There's people who talk about the soul cult now, okay? The NPCs, the, people who are making decisions without really, really digging into what does this really mean for me? And then maybe those decisions end up not being right for them because it harms them physically or some other stuff goes on, okay? And here's a core question of Pholus. Are you willing to differentiate yourself from the group? Do you feel comfortable with that? Are you okay with that? And can you carry on when tragedy has occurred? Can you continue despite the trauma that you have felt in your life? And this is the story of the new moon, and it comes with an antidote, okay? The first is Athena. She's ahead of the new moon and Pholus by 2 degrees. She's the spiritual warrior. And what does this tell us? If we lead with courage, if we dig deep and lead by being the hero of our own story, this is the antidote, right, to what we've been through, whatever that is for you individually. And then here's the next antidote. The new moon is sextile Saturn in Pisces, which is, finally moving forward, okay? So what does that mean? Well, Saturn in Pisces, it means our solutions here are to create structure and process that supports us, but that is grounded in the spiritual, So whatever that is for you, and you can, ultimately it's a very personal process here. Hold on, Jack. No, you can't eat that. Don't do that. Yeah. Right? Come here. How we nourish ourselves is personal, but don't eat the poison, okay? Don't eat the poison. No, don't worry, that was just grass that I don't want him to eat. But, Pholus allows himself to succumb to the poison, okay, that got his whole tribe. And if you have felt on the outside, maybe you even have felt that way your whole life, just know that there's a place for you. We're here at the cusp, at the age of Aquarius. We're in the first new moon, okay, of the new solar year, the first solar year in Aquarius. And there's a place for you if you're different. There's a way to heal if you've been through trauma and tragedy. And I'm going to tell you something, it was so fascinating. This so fits with the new moon. When I opened X today, there was a big thread on the Wymhof method and on Wymhof, who created it. And do you know how he created this incredible breathing method that pushes the physical body and causes you to learn to adapt and to control, okay, the physical body in ways that previously were not thought possible? He found solace. His wife died, and he was so traumatized. He found solace in the cold and in breathing in the cold, okay? So this is a physical balance, a physical example that balances the spiritual. If you take a look at and do the heart activation, hand over heart breathing meditation that I teach, it teaches you to connect with the solace, the 0 point, the soul connection in your own heart. And in my view, this is an antidote that is greatly needed. That is greatly needed. and highly beneficial. So friends, bark away the tragedy. You know, allow yourself, okay, to allow it to dissolve. Yeah. And you know, my dog, he's a rescue, and I know what happened. He was separated from his pack, okay? And you know, he loves other dogs. He misses the pack, okay? Now he's with a much smaller pack of humans, but he misses the dog pack. But he survived. You know, he was in one of the early, you know, big California fires, and he survived miraculously. And you know, he persevered, and he came to live with me. And I bless him for that, because he's been a blessing to us. But in a way, you could say, applying these spiritual concepts to my dog, you could say that he gave up, right? He gave up being a member of the group. He gave up being, you know, a working dog, actually, to be with me. And, you know, he persevered, and he helped me persevere as I learned to find the stillness within, so that I could gather the courage to move forward in my own life. Yeah, it was really beautiful. Okay, friends, thank you. God bless you, and much love to you. Much love, honor, and respect.